Welcome back to another episode of Shola's Mentorship Blueprint podcast. I am your host, Olushola Odubanjo. I am a registered nurse and a mentor. This space is where young professionals grow into confident and human-centered leaders. Today, we'll explore a subject that redefines the norms of leadership. Because here's the truth. Being a boss is easy, but being a mentor, that's leadership. Today, we're talking about leading like a mentor, not like a boss. A mindset shift that can actually transform your influence, your team's performance, and your own career path. So take a deep breath, settle in, get your notepads, and let's dive into what real leadership looks like. Now, let's talk about why bossing doesn't work anymore. But before then, let's talk about something really provocative. If your leadership style can be replaced either by a checklist or a policy manual, you're not leading, you're managing tasks. And actually, managing tasks isn't enough anymore nowadays because today's workplace is faster, more complex, more human. People are tired of being told what to do. They really want someone to guide them on how to grow, why it's important, and who they can be. Now, the old school boss will say, do this because I said so. Follow the rules, meet the deadline. But the mentor leader says, let's think this through together. Here's why it matters. How do you want to approach it? What can I do to help you succeed on this task or project? Here's the shift. Bosses actually extract performance, while mentors develop people. And people who are developed, they just don't perform. They grow, they innovate, they stay, and they actually spread, the positive vibe and they spread the greatness everywhere they go. So if you're still using authority as your primary leadership tool, you're playing the wrong game. In this era, to borrow the Gen Z phrase, being a boss is out. Being a mentor is the real flex. Mentoring is the new leadership. Now, let's talk about the mentor leader mindset. Mentor leaders embody three things. One, curiosity over certainty. A boss thinks they should have all the answers. A mentor knows their job is to ask better questions. Now, when someone on your team brings a problem, try and say this. What have you thought about so far? What outcome are you aiming for? What's actually holding you back? You might be surprised at how often they already have the solution. They just need confidence, not command. Two, empowerment over control. Now, control feels safe, but it suffocates growth. Mentor leaders hand over responsibility with trust and clarity. They believe that capability is built, not bought. Ask yourself, am I delegating tasks or am I delegating ownership? Have you thought about that before? That's because there is a massive difference. The third one, connection over distance. Some leaders think being professional means being detached, but influence is built on connection. Mentor leaders know the people's strengths, motivation, fears, aspirations, and how they like to be supported. People don't follow titles, they follow humans. The third one, the cost of leading like a boss. Now, let's talk about the consequences. Leading like a boss. Leading like a boss actually creates low morale, quiet, quitting, dependency, lack of innovation, burnout, and resentment. You know what's scary? It creates leaders who intimidate the same behavior when they get promoted. Bossing people around doesn't just damage for today, it actually reproduces the same leadership dysfunction into the next generation. Mentoring builds leaders who builds leaders. This is how culture shifts. This is how organizations evolve. This is how industries actually transform. The fourth one, how to lead like a mentor. Now, let's get a bit practical. Here are 5 habits you can start using today to lead like a mentor, not a boss. 1, place directives with question. Instead of do this by 5 p.m., try what's your plan for approaching this? How can I support your timeline? This actually creates ownership, not compliance. Yes, there has to be deadlines to things. There has to be deadline to tax giving. Yes, I get that. But it's how we actually say it that really matters. Just as I said earlier, How can I support your timeline? Basically, your timeline in getting this task done. Number 2, give feedback that builds identity, not insecurity. Now, some bad bosses criticize actions. Mentor leaders, they strengthen identity. You say, you're someone who pays attention to details. How can you bring more of that to this project? By saying that, it actually reinforces the strength instead of spotlighting the weakness. Number 3, share your thinking. Don't hide your process. Young professionals don't grow by watching you magically deliver results. They grow by understanding how you think. You'll be surprised. When you make a decision, say, let me walk you through my reasoning. Number 4, create opportunities, not just tasks. Ask yourself, is there a stretch assignment I can give? Can I let them lead the next meeting? Is because mentors don't just utilize people, they elevate them. The 5th one, celebrate progress loudly and correct quietly. Recognition is fuel, is actually fuel. Use it generously because correction grows people, embarrassment breaks trust. Number 5, the inner work of a mentor leader. Here's the part no one likes talking about. You can't mentor others until you've mentored yourself. Mentor leaders have done the internal work. They're reflective. They are self-aware. They know their triggers, biases, and blind spots. So ask yourself, do I lead from confidence or insecurity? Do I actually listen to understand or to respond? Do I create space for others or dominate it? Do I coach? Do I mentor? Or do I control? Because you can't actually guide someone to a place you've never been internally. Great leadership begins with your own growth. So if you've not done this and done that self-awareness, I'll plead with you to actually go and have that self-reflection before you start continuing leading. Now, this is a challenge for emerging leaders. I want to leave you with a challenge. Over the next week, choose one person or a teammate, a peer, or someone you supervise and mentor them intentionally. Ask them, what's one goal you have for this month? How can I support you? How can I support you in getting there? What strengths do you want to develop? What obstacles are holding you back? Just take 10 to 15 minutes to invest in someone else's growth. Just that, 10 to 15 minutes. Because leadership isn't about brilliance. It isn't about authority. It's actually about impact. Great leaders leave people better than they found them. You don't need a title to be a mentor. You don't need decades of experience. You just need intention, curiosity, and a genuine desire to help people grow. Now, this brings us to the end of another interesting episode. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If this episode shifted your thinking, inspired you, or challenged you, kindly like, share it with a friend or colleague stepping into leadership. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Remember, the world has enough bosses, and truly, we do have enough bosses. What we need, what your team needs, is a mentor. Be that leader. Until next time, keep growing, keep leading, and stay intentional. Bye.